2026 Investing in African Mining Indaba wraps up with a clear directive of regional collaboration. To expand on this, I'm joined by the Minerals Council SA CEO Mzila Mthenjana. Thank you so much for your time. First of all, let's talk about practicality in terms of taking Africa's critical minerals to the rest of the world. Are we, as Africa, ready to do so and compete at a global level?
No, absolutely. I think from the conference that we held this year, I'm really inspired and convinced that I think we are ready. And why I'm feeling that way is that the leadership conversation that took place was really a recognition of the fact that the way to success is going to be how Africa acts as one, or at the very least in terms of the various regions that exist within the continent. And this is going to open up huge markets for the continent to be able to see a lot of the ambitions that it's aiming for. And one of the biggest one of those is the beneficiation of critical minerals. And to be able to achieve those beneficiation ambitions, I think we need to create regions that then provide for large markets. Where you have a large and viable market, you then are able to attract investment. But I think also the leadership conversation that's been taking place at the Mining Indaba is how those critical minerals will benefit the continent and the world. Firstly, benefiting the continent in terms of beneficiation of minerals in order to supply for materials for the infrastructure development that we need. And that's how we're going to begin to get social progress and prosperity for the continent. But we all know that we're having this conversation about critical minerals because of the need for the global energy transition. So Africa is sitting in a very, very fortunate position where its minerals are needed for its development and the development of the whole world, but also for the transition. And I think that bodes very well for the continent and for South Africa.
Lastly, you encouraged the youth to say that Africa really is at a critical point where its young are ripe and ready, but support is also needed. And you try to demystify some of the notions that are there that young people don't want to get into mining and it's not resourceful. Talk to us about how important this cohort is for the future of mining.
So quite often we give a lot of attention to the natural resources beneath the surface of the soil in terms of the minerals. And it was really to try and raise the awareness of the fact that the people above the surface, particularly the skills, I think the whole continent really continues to have a demographic dividend that we are not harnessing and harvesting sufficiently. We're also seeing how mining is adopting a lot of technologies that are coming on board, that are being invented, and I think mining will continue to be a user of the latest technologies. That can be achieved largely with the employment of youth, with youth getting into entrepreneurship and services that will support the mining industry. So a career in mining is not only looking at how you extract and remove the minerals from the ground, but it's also in all the other supporting services. And these are numerous and quite vast throughout the value chain. And I'm hoping that from that speech, they'll be able to take up these opportunities.
Thank you so much for your input. That is the CEO of the Minerals Council of South Africa, Mzila Mthenjana, speaking to us as the 2026 Investing in African Mining Indaba wraps up.